Monster energy drinks are, quite frankly, the work of the devil. The stuff tastes like the carbonated urine of hell beasts. But is the Monster Corporation really, truly, literally in league with Satan, and can this connection be proved by amateur Hebrew cryptography? I'm going to go with a big fat no, but this woman thinks otherwise. Let's hear her out.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O? There's a cross.
Okay.
What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster? So I thought, well, maybe this is a Christian company then. BFC at the bottom of the can. Do you know what that stands for? That's the F word. Big can. In fact, they write it on the side of the can, so I know that's the F word.
Okay.
Now, do you know what a MILF is?
Yes.
That's on the box. MILFs dig it, and you will too. This is not a Christian company at all. So why would they have put a cross on the can? Here is the message. Antichrist. 666 in Hebrew. And then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation. And look at Monster's ad. This is their statement. You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan. And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down, bottoms up, and the devil laughs. Something to think about.
Wow.
A cursory glance at the logo and the Vav symbol shown in the Hebrew alphabet chart included in the message might seem to reveal a passing similarity. However, a closer examination rapidly reveals that the symbols are in fact quite different. As these side-by-side images show, a Vav has a very different shape than the monster claw symbol. The head of the symbol is rounded and sweeps to a vertical point. In contrast, the monster symbol is much more angular and tapers to a horizontal point. If each stroke of the monster logo was destylized and placed in a different context, it is extremely doubtful that anyone would seriously claim that the strokes were meant to be Vavs. Moreover, even using the very same Hebrew alphabet chart included in the message, the logo could just as easily be interpreted as 3 Zain, 3 Nun, or even 3 Kaf. It could also appear to be closer to a 7 than any Hebrew Vav. The top of the Vav is from what is called a Yod. It starts with the pen moving down then across and down again, forming a tail at the start and end. In the case of Vav, the last part of the stroke is extended down and widened by turning the pen. The scratches for the M do not have the starting tail or the widened base of the Vav. The logo's M actually is partially connected, and has a much longer stem than the Hebrew letter she claims they represent. In Hebrew, the biblical number of the beast is not just the digit 6 repeated 3 times, it is actually the number 666, which would be represented by very different Hebrew letters. Samach Rash Te Vav. This can be seen from the original Greek text of Revelation. Revelation 13:18. Odhi Sophia Eston. Ho ekon noun cephasado arithmon 2 arithmos gar anthropo eston, kai ho arithmos autu hexako oi hexikina hex. Hexako oi is Greek for 600. Hexikina is Greek for 60. And hex is Greek for 6. So the number of the beast is 666. Older Bible translations such as the King James Version show this clearly by using the phrase 666. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Oh, and another thing, Hebrew adds the numbers to that 3 sixes would be 18, not 666. And here it can get even more tricky, in that to get 666 you just have to get the total of the sum of numbers. So it could be almost anything. Okay, so her theory doesn't hold up. Stay seated. Satan Lady has a lot more. How about how the O in the Monster logo has a cross through it? Satan Lady thought Monster might be a Christian company, but then she read some of Monster's ad copy and decided. Big F in Ken and MILF's Loved were not exactly pro-Jesus sentiments. The only possible explanation, says Satan Lady, is that the cross turns into a subversive witch symbol when turned upside down. Bottoms up, she says, pretending to drink her Monster can. There's no cross in the O that turns upside when you drink the can. That's their Greek letter phi. The setter claw mark could perhaps more reasonably be identified as the Hebrew letter Zayin, and for the record I am using the term reasonably in a relative sense. Nothing about the silly notion is really reasonable. As this picture shows, the top part of the Hebrew letter Zayin sticks out in both the left and right directions. Unlike the Hebrew letter Vav, where the top part only sticks out to the left. This would make the letter Zayin a bit closer in appearance than the letter Vav to the middle claw mark in the Monster Energy drink logo, which also has a top part sticking out in both the left and right directions. A person might also choose to read the leftmost claw mark as a Zayin instead of a Vav as well. Now I am not saying that the logo on the Monster Energy drink is actually Vav Zayin Vav or Vav Zayin Zayin or anything like that. What I am showing is that this whole teaching is flawed from its very first notion, of reading the claw marks on the Monster Energy drink logo as Hebrew letters. Any resemblance between the two symbols is superficial and completely meaningless. Claiming that the logo is intended to convey the letters 666 rather than a stylized M is stretching credibility well beyond breaking point. One more thing. The inverted cross is misunderstood by both Satanists, heavy metal bands. Modern Satanism walks the narrow line between bona fide religion and juvenile attention-seeking farce, like the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, but with a lot more chains, hair dye and self-mutilation. Generally intended as a giant middle finger to Christianity, Satanists deliberately adorn themselves with symbols that they think will inspire random people to try to give them a stern talking to. One of the most popular Satanist symbols is the upside-down cross, the reasoning behind which seems obvious enough. With the possible exception of that pentagram thing with the goat's head inside it, the inverted cross is the most immediately recognizable symbol of defiance against Christianity. It's certainly the easiest to tattoo onto your own face. That's pretty hardcore. But there's only one man on earth who is death metal enough to have an inverted cross carved into his own throne. If those Satanists had paid attention in Sunday school, they would probably realize that the inverted cross is actually the personal trademark of the Apostle Peter, and one of the most revered figures in Christian lore. When Peter was martyred by crucifixion, he was said to have requested to be crucified upside down, because he didn't feel worthy of dying the same way as Jesus. As a result, many dyed-in-the-wool Christians actually consider the inverted cross to be a more acceptable thing to attach to your jewelry than a regular right way up one. I'm more metal than you, Satanists. By wearing an upside-down cross, Satanists are unwittingly showing humility and unworthiness before Christ. That makes about as much sense as a neo-Nazi sticking it to the Jews by swearing off pork for life. The